Good afternoon. It is very high traffic today. It's I actually never seen that in this area, which is quite funny. Now, okay, not that funny, not that funny. Right, so making the second video today, and this will be the last video I make until maybe Sunday, at least Saturday, maybe Sunday, because I'm going away to a conference today, Thursday and Friday. I'll be home on Sunday morning, maybe early afternoon, and I probably won't have the energy to make a video, even like, okay, say the energy as if it takes me extra energy to walk home from, or actually extra energy to do this instead of just walking home. But the point is, I'm sorry. I do these when I walk home because I have nothing better to do. I'm bored, and as a result, I do this. But since I'm not walking home from the conference, I'm taking a cab home. Maybe a bus, we'll see. But either way, I'm not going to go to walk home, and thus I won't be making this video. But I might be making a video like in my apartment on Saturday. We shall see. I haven't decided yet. I won't decide until Saturday anyway. So there will be 2 videos today, but none on the upcoming 2 days, and maybe one on Saturday. We'll see. So, what is today's topic, except for my babbling? Well, I'm going to talk a bit about my political point of view. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because, in my view, like, politics is one area where you really have to use the correct terminology at all times. It's kind of like philosophy and religion, which is, those are my 3 points that I talk about on my channel mainly. So yeah, that's great. But anyway, I want to clarify a bit about my political view before actually going over to more religion and philosophy later on, though of course they are related. I would say that I want to be a libertarian. I'm not, but I want to be. I think from a philosophical point of view, libertarianism is the best idea. It promotes ultimate freedom. And in my worldview, freedom is always good. Forcing someone to do something just because you disagree with what they do currently is not a good plan. And your rights end where mine begin. That means you cannot hurt anyone else. You're not allowed to steal or rape, take someone by force, because at that point you have violated someone else's rights, someone else's freedoms. So I don't condone any of this, and this is obvious. You only have the rights that you grant others. And I'm not saying just, well, they have the right, like the right wing of America talking about gays, that they have the right to marry a person of the opposite sex as well. No. If you have the right to marry someone you love, then other people have that right as well. But it needs to be consensual. The person has to be an adult, and they need to be able to consent. That means you can't marry a farm animal because they are not able to consent to this. should be obvious, but apparently it's not. Anyway, and my political point of view is the same, and some people will say that makes me right-wing. Some people even said that would make me a neocon, which I found quite hilarious. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make me right-wing, and it doesn't make me left-wing. When it comes to social issues, like I said, I'm not quite libertarian. I'm very close, but I'm not quite there. I'm an minarchist, I would say, not a full-scale anarchist. But the right wing would say, when I talk about social issues, they would say you're a leftist, and the left would say on financial issues you're a right-wing nutter. Because I actually believe in the market. I'm not just talking about the market as in money. I'm talking about market as in the marketplace of ideas and the freedom to choose, not just in financial situations, but in your personal situations as well. Now, the right wing of America is fairly liberal. I'm talking about the original sense of the word now, as in a non-interventionist. When it comes to the market, let the market control itself. Now, they don't really apply this because they favor the big companies and not the small ones. Now, there is a saying, any policy which is good for small business is also good for big business, and that's true. But everything good for big business is not necessarily good for small business. And this is something to keep in mind. Just because you have something created to help small businesses and it helps big businesses as well, it doesn't make it a bad thing. But if you do something that helps the big businesses but that chokes the small ones, you basically choke the market potential out of the market. You shouldn't put those limits on businesses that makes it almost impossible for small businesses to grow. That's how you get competition. Smaller companies come in, they have a better idea than the other ones already there, and they take over. And it's just a cycle. Only the things that renew themselves have a chance to keep on going. So in this sense, I'm fairly right-wing. I mean, I'm not a fiscal conservative. I would say I'm a liberal in the true sense of the word. But when it comes to social issues, and that's why I said, like, the American right is fairly liberal, again, in the true sense of the word, in politics, or in financials. When it comes to things like personal space and your personal life, all of a sudden, they talk about how bad the government is. And then all of a sudden, when it comes to personal life, religion, all this stuff, then all of a sudden, the government is supposed to intervene. The left is the other way around. They go, well, I don't want the government meddling in my personal affairs, but they still want the government to meddle in finances. And this is just mind-boggling to me. How can you say, like, be consistent? If you don't think government should meddle in your private affairs, that includes your business. It's not just your personal life when you're done working, it's everything. That is your personal thing. And they should, I still think that the government should have some sort of role in society, both when it comes to some sort of regulation. I'm not really sure where the limit would go, but I do think that the influence should be as small as possible. And that goes for social and economic. For some reason, this is a very hard concept for people to understand. Now, to me, like, when I hear right-wing Americans talk about left-wing, make it sound like they are communists, and yet they meddle more in the private affairs of their citizens than the left does. And then, you know, the left wing is talking about how the government shouldn't dictate what I can and can't do in my bedroom, which I agree with, by the way. But they still want the government to interfere with how I run my business. If I fail my business goes down. That's it. I mean, if you don't run your business well, you are broke. Now, I have to say, if I have to choose between government meddling in my personal affairs, but not in my private affairs, and government meddling in my private affairs, but not in my business affairs, I would definitely rather have them meddle in my financial affairs. Because government can act as a stabilizer in the economy. Not necessarily in a good way, but still. They have the possibility of doing that in a good way, even though it's very rarely done. But the government has no business telling me how to live my life. Now, I'm not gay, but if I was, it should be my right to be so. Government should have no say in my personal life whatsoever. So yeah, I have to say, I really don't like the way government is meddling in people's affairs at all. But again, if I had to choose between meddling in my private affairs and in my business affairs, I would choose to let them meddle with my business. Because my personal life is my personal life. They have no right to dictate what I do with my life, as long as I don't hurt anyone else, as long as everything I do follows the rule of my rights end where your rights begin. So yeah, like I said, I'm not going to go into too much detail. This is actually it for now. I might go on a bit further, and if you have questions, feel free to ask them. But for now, I'm going to cut the video here. I'll explain sort of my principal position, and you might say that this is more a philosophical than a political point of view. You might be right. I still think it's more political, but you know, that's fine. Anyway, I have to go, I have to pack, I have to take a shower, and then I have to leave. So, take care.